Got the old Squire thin line out there. This is Fretboard Visions #1 in a series of videos. And essentially, this one I'm going to talk about, sometimes you come up with a melody in your head, you start figuring it out on guitar, and you know, for me that's all it was for a while. I'd figure out these melodies, and it still is like a lot of times, but something occurred to me with some of these classical style melodies. This next one I'm going to do, clearly I probably stole it from somebody. You know, if it wasn't the classical guys, then I stole it from Ingwe, and Ingwe stole it from them, and whatever. You know, it's probably been done before, the basic concept of the melody. I'm sure it has. I'm sure I've heard it somewhere. You know, and I'm not claiming to be a classical guitar player guy that would know that anyway, like what it is. So you guys can fill me in, go ahead. But anyway, this is the basic idea. So normally this kind of melody here is what I come up with originally. Like that, right? And it kind of leads to an obvious chord that would be in place of that. So in this particular video for Fretboard Visions, what I want to talk about is sort of when you come up with a melody like that that sort of implies a chord. Another way to gain more knowledge of the fretboard is to force yourself to sort of go lower on the fretboard, maybe with that chord tone. So I'll give you an example here. That kind of thing, okay? So even out of that, you know, that was one of those fretboard visions I had. It was like, okay. But then what I realized is that I could play with those bottom notes and make melodies in there as well a little bit. So for example, and I'm sure I'll expand upon this in time, but here's an example. One more time, okay. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I mean by Fretboard Visions. This is video #1, obviously, and that's, to me, you know, not that I have really a clue. I mean, whatever. But to me, I've seen a lot of good like players that get really good because they do that. They don't worry too. You know, obviously they take lessons or they look at online, whatever. But sometimes they just figure out a little thing on their own, and they work with it for a while. Sometimes they work with it for 2 days, sometimes they work with it for 2 months, you know, or sometimes they work with it for a couple of years, you know, a certain approach or whatever, right? So never be afraid to do that is all I'm saying. Use your ear, and if you hear something that tells you, okay, I'm going somewhere with this little thing I'm doing, well then, yeah, you know, do it, keep doing it. Don't let any of these, you know, too structured of an approach kill that in you as a guitar player. That's what Fretboard Visions is all about. So that was video #1, folks.